Throw Gang, we are joined by Colm Simmons because he's JK, Lawrence Schlossman, and myself, the Planetarian Poppy, James Harris. Welcome to the weekly Running the Boys with today's full episode using microphones that fucking stink.
They smell so bad.
Full episode only available on patreon.com/throwingfits. Before we get into beefing with everyone under the sun, explaining why the microphones smell like Larry's ashtray, delusions of grandeur at the Lil Yachty listening party, and the ideal sex time. Let's get into a fit check. Is this what you smell like? This is what it smells like to smooch you.
You got your clothes dry cleaned from the Claire Cave?
Yeah, I had to.
What were you wearing? You wore the new Connor McKnight knit, you dumbass.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I was like debating if I should, because I guess spoiler alert in front of the paywall. We potted with our new boy Andrew Brooks, Mr. Claire.
Tane.
And because he runs his own office, he's like, I'm gonna smoke weed throughout this. You guys can drink beers. We can smoke some cigs inside.
He's blasting darts.
But we closed the door and the window to keep like this ideal sound, and it was like a legit fucking hot box.
It was.
I was like, damn, I regret not leaving my knit and jacket outside.
Yep.
The room, because now they fucking reek, just like these microphones.
And we had like mad obligations that night, and we even went out to dinner before said obligations, and you were like apologizing to Rachel, our friend, the hostess at Bernie's, where you were like, I'm sorry that we smell like shit.
I'm sorry that I smell like this microphone right here.
Dude, the fucking Claire Cave was fucking bumping. That's a great, I can't wait for people to hear that.
I know, 2 weeks. We'll reveal next week's episode.
Maybe not, though.
Or this week's episode.
Yeah, we don't know.
TBD.
A lot of things are in flux, but let's get into a fit check, Jimbo.
All right, upstairs, I was wearing, what sneakers was I wearing?
Asics. Gel Kino 14 GRs.
Gel Kino 14 GR. Everyone thinks they're the Jowns, but you can just get the GRs for like $140.
I don't know if you can now that we've been like talking about now that we're the GR gods.
Also,
they might have pushed them over the edge.
Also, think they were from last spring. Maybe. I don't know.
I've seen people with that colorway. I feel like they were available, probably sold out.
Whatever. You can get silver Asics like fucking at any point of the year.
Yeah.
I got the Nike Drifties. Got the motherfucking pants from motherfucking Penn, MF Penn. Got them tailored.
Oh, yeah?
Wazine.
Wait.
Where's Wazine from?
Where is he from?
He's Afghani.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I think a few times he said that he's Indian on the podcast when we're talking about the goat. Yeah.
I don't think I would have ever called him Indian if I didn't know.
Well, I was chatting him up, and he's like on the phone with like a client or a colleague or something, and I was like, "Is that Urdu?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "He's Persian." I was like, "Oh, Iran?" He's like, "No, Afghanistan." Oh,
interesting.
Cool.
Wait, I have a question. These pants are elastic waist, right?
Yes.
So you just
I got them hemmed.
You got them hemmed.
Yeah.
Wait, how long? Because they still seem like, I'm not saying they look sloppy. They look good.
Well, you know what I'm realizing, Lawrence, is that my body is like very funnily shaped and not ideal for like how clothes are made, which is crazy that it took me 36 years to realize that I'm not perfect.
Yeah. What I've noticed about you is you have shorter arms.
I have stumpy arms.
And you have You're stumpy.
I'm stumpy.
Yeah.
Fucking red and stumpy, dog.
Dude, for real.
I'm fucking drinking all this coffee because I'm from Stumptown.
We're the opposites, kind of.
You're leggy Larry.
Yeah, and I have long. Well, I'm like a half an inch taller than you.
Well, except when we're sitting.
Yeah, except when we're sitting.
With your stumpy torso.
And I have longer arms.
Yeah.
Wait, so you got them hemmed like what? 1 inch?
No, a few inches. They were pretty long. They were pretty long.
You worn them pre-hem.
Yeah, but they were like sloppy long. And yes, everyone in the fucking all the subhumans on the subreddit are like, "Oh, Jimmy needs to tailor his pants." Okay, guys. Not true all the time, but with these, yeah, you had a point.
Okay. I like them. They're kind of like we talked about before. They're like chef pants.
Swaggy chef pants.
Yeah, to some degree.
I got a Our Legacy Workshop Stussy blush pink tee on a Stussy blank.
Salmon.
So not as cropped as the regular Legace Workshops.
I will say those regular workshop tees are like the best fitting tees I've ever owned. I really like that fit.
Yeah, especially for someone with a stumpy ass torso.
There you go. Yeah, they're perfect for fucking stumpy boys.
Yeah, the stump rumps. That didn't work, but
it's okay.
We'll
move past it.
I was very surprised by how hard that collab, that drop that we saw in Stockholm, got a little preview of how hard it resonated and like seemingly transcended like our echo chamber of like Legace stands. Which you and I are stand 1 and 2.
I was very upset because I tapped into cop multiple pieces, of which
The $700 leather hoodie.
I wanted the leather hoodie. That was the hero piece without a doubt. I was really into the shearling vest. You know, one of those things that, listen, I don't know if I would have pulled the trig if it was available, but it was sold out, so I didn't even get the option to debate in my mind, do I want to buy a reversible shearling vest?
I was even up that day randomly at like 5:45. Not intentionally. I didn't set my alarm for 5 a.m., but I was like, fuck, I'm up. Let me go check it out. And yeah, shit moved.
I took an L
and you
on
see it on
both
like
drops.
you see it on like mood boards and shit now, which is
Yeah, I saw it on Hidden just like today.
Yeah.
That leather hoodie is so fucking good.
I know.
Damn.
I mean, look, the more people realize what Workshop and Stussy are doing, I guess that's net posy.
Oh, the more good taste in the world, the better. And again, as long as you remember where you fucking heard it first, then we're all good. That's all.
Second layer cardigan. Shout out the boys out in L.A.
Yep.
Rich white bitch from Aspen who plundered indigenous lands for this ring and made a name vintage on this ring and Hanes underwear. And sipping on a Diet Pepsi and Greenpoint's finest.
I wore camions to the crib. I have on Shiro socks. Best socks on the motherfucking planet.
Are they restocked yet?
Yeah, it has more colorways now too, so I think you can just tap in and cop.
GR to Shiro.
I am wearing, and I have been wearing for a bunch of days consistently because I love them, the Our Legacy Digiprint third cut jeans. Jenna called these, and I quote, vile.
That's how you know they're good.
No, exactly. I mean, listen, there are many tenets of the only podcast that matters, but one foundational rule is that if your girl hates your fit or hates a specific John, that's how you know it's good. And this, I think, will not be the first time we talk about this. It's not even a theory. It is a rule.
Yeah.
So I asked her, I said, are these the singular worst John, in your opinion, that I own? And she was like, well, you own a lot of stuff that I don't like. This is not new news. But she was like, I think right now, because of recency bias, she's like, these are the worst. And she said they look like Ed Hardy Jersey Shore jeans, and not in a good way, because she acknowledged that Y2K is a trend. She was like, these just look terrible.
Okay, they are like acid washy, but she must direct from you, or because she owns a big brain herself, understands like the fact that it's a pattern printed onto like denim.
So it's funny you say that because
there's not actual tears in them, right?
No. It's completely digital printed. And again, like I think the term I used when we talked about this when we did our haul was that it's like some Margiela big brain shit. I think it's very fucking cool in a way that normally I think you and I are not drawn to like novelty stuff, but I do think that this is a cool idea.
I will say that I think that if a different brand than OL did this, then you and I might be like a little, because we're OL pilled, like absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. I think that there's absolutely some like confirmation bias in terms of like our stand-up, right? For brands like OL or Stussy or Second Layer, a bunch of guys that got mentioned already. But so when I was mansplaining this process to her, I did I did the whole spiel, and she was just dying laughing like that was going to even remotely sway her or change her mind.
I think my girlfriend also commented on your drunken Sunday brunch mirror fit pic at the bar. Or maybe just you reposting Jen of you at the jukebox, which, by the way, you were like right here. You could have said what up.
At Rockarola?
Yeah, Rockarola.
That's not right here.
Did you get the goblets of beer?
Jenna got a goblet of Marg, and then they have Lone Stars, so I just drink Lone Stars.
Yo, those coffee drinks, the frozen coffee drinks, instant diarrhea.
So
instant.
Every time we go,
you want to get some fucking. You want to digiprint your own draws. Drink this coffee drink.
Every time we go to Birds of a Feather for brunch, we'll swing by Rockarola, we'll play some shuffleboard, we'll throw some tunes on the jukebox, and she is always tempted to, like, you know, after you've had some sake at brunch, you know, get a little pick-me-up. She gets that coffee drink, and she hates it, and I always end up finishing it for her, and the same thing happened. It is not good. Though, you know what it is? It's coffee, you're chewing coffee grounds.
Coffee booze and coffee ice cream is phenomenal. Coffee ice cream might be my favorite.
Really?
Top 3, top 5
Honestly,
ice cream flavors.
Kind of a crazy take.
Word? All right, I'm a coffee man.
What's your number one ice cream flavor?
Chocolate.
Oh,
I'm a simple man.
I'm a mint chocolate chip boy.
Leonard Skinner, simple man.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, what do you?
My mama told me.
Skinner for the outro. Damn,
I was
the
young.
Jukebox at Rockarola,
bro. This shit slaps.
No,
what are we talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, my girl was also just like, "What the fuck are those pants?" I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Well, I think that
you understand, babe.
I think when you see them in a picture, or even maybe in person, I think the novelty of the digiprint like kind of fools at first glance.
Dumb bitches.
So I think it's more of just like, yo, look at these crazy vintage jeans, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these dumb broads have me fucking clocked, and they know that it's like a printed denim.
These fucking hussies.
Anyway, again, vile jeans on the fucking on the appendages down below. I wore a electric piss yellow Austria puffer.
If you're piss looking like the puffer, drink some water.
Yeah.
Get a Pedialyte.
Yeah, dude, you are dehydrated. Yeah. If you're piss looking like this, you're not a team player.
If you got the puff of piss, Pedialyte.
Do you remember in the old Barstool office, there was in one of the bathrooms, there was the part of my take hydration chart where you determined that shit was always so fun to me. Because it just white or clear just says come.
Ugh.
That was great.
I tweeted like
great bit.
I tweeted like
shout out the boys.
If the Austria, whatever.
Austria.
Like if this logo shows up at your climbing gym, like monthly rates going
the
up.
Beanie. Yeah.
Isaac LaRose. No wait.
Yes.
Yeah. Isaac LaRose
from Montreal, where this
from
brand
Montreal
is
took a screenshot, put it on his story, and tagged all them. Not just the brand, but like all the individuals.
Damn, dude.
And I'm like, yo, like, Twitter's kind of a sacred safe space. Like I would never. I don't want this to be perceived as a shot. But he's like, nah, it's all good. They love this. They're former interns of mine.
Oh, shit.
And now they're like Now they're like the hometown heroes of Montreal.
Yeah, and they fuck with us. So shout out Austria. I will say that I think that, and
I've been climbing in their pants, and yes, the monthly rates have gone up.
Yeah, and I believe we're going to talk about like the status of Gorp with somebody for something potentially. So keep it locked. But from what I understand, as a Gorp capper completely, I'll never deny that.
The cap is Gore-Tex.
Yes, 100%.
Gore-Tex capping.
Drip
proof.
I perceive Austria as like the new cool guy post-arc climbing brand, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a puffer or the said beanie, that's how I kind of view it. So anyway, I fuck with the puffer a lot. It's fucking amazing. I believe there's some on sale on the site right now. Shill over. I am wearing a Deja Vu Studios Whiplash bootleg T-shirt.
Great flick. It's about jazz about the notes they don't play.
Do you actually like Whiplash? I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a Chazelle guy. I will say my one thought about Whiplash, having watched it recently, is there's obviously the Literally Me Sigma Mount Rushmore. So you got Gosling and Drive and
Patrick Bateman,
Blade Runner, Bateman. Who else is on there? The Joker. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
Who should be on there? Benicio del Toro and Sicario. Watch that this weekend.
Dude, for sure.
Fire flick.
Banger. Great fucking movie. Something you
it's on Netflix.
What it was always funny to me is that Miles Teller is full Sigma male in Whiplash, but it's hilarious to me that he doesn't get put on that Mount Rushmore simply because he's into jazz and jazz is gay. And they're like you and he's not relatable to internet incel guys who are probably listening to Opium and think that going to a conservatory to study jazz drumming is so fucking corny. Anyway, shout out Whiplash, great fucking flick. See it if you haven't. Up top as
faster,
tempo, something like that. Yeah. Fletcher, shout out fucking Fletcher.
Arpeggio.
No, he does not.
Arpeggio.
He never.
Legato.
I believe both those terms are not once uttered in that movie.
They're both music terms though.
No, I'm aware.
Used to be a piano man.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, we talked about that?
I mean, Asian mom. I grew up playing.
Sure.
I grew up playing piano.
Was your mom a tiger mom?
No, but with piano, and
she's an artiste herself.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, fuck. Of course, I wish I'd stuck with it instead of quitting it to smoke weed and play sports and try and have sex in high school.
Right, as we've established.
I did play. I mean, I was nice, and I did play at.
You were nice on the ivory.
Yeah, I tickled the ivory, baby. I was a little ivory tickler. I did play at
Like a recital?
Like a group recital, but I was the first one because I was mad young. I was 5 or 6. I think at the Plaza Hotel in front of a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
And the only thing I remember is that I was chilling in the kitchen and
Did your shit bang?
Of course, bro. Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
It was super basic.
No, it was
chopsticks.
It was something better. The fuck? It's racist.
Yes. Freudian slip of the best kind.
I just remember being.
Stop the landing.
I remember being in the kitchen and seeing gigantic bottles of soda and being so amped over that.
like a 2-liter of.
And they're like, yo, if my mom
Coca-Cola.
was like, you make no mistakes, you got some orange soda.
I like that, dude. Respect. Quick, funny piano thing. We've talked a lot about Grandma Michael, who just turned 98. We were at this engagement.
Michelle's her
party
dead name.
when Mitzi. When we were at the engagement party for my second cousin, which is one of the things we did in Florida. I'm sitting down, I'm talking to her, we're catching up. And there's a guy playing piano, and I wish I remember. He was in like a famous, like he was booked because he was in a famous group. Oh, I can't remember. But anyway, he's playing piano, and my grandmother turns to me and she goes, if you only stuck with it, you would have been amazing.
You play piano?
And I said, no, that was my brother Douglas there. She was
Michael?
Yeah, I played bass guitar terribly. That was
Slap
my
in the
foray.
bass.
Metalwood Studio on the cap, Rolly on the wrist, wedding ring on the fingy, wifey on the pinky, because the nameplate ring that Jenna got me came in, and it was not from.
So this is the new one.
No, this is the old one, because the new one came in and I was wrong. It was not from They Them Jewelers.
Okay.
It was from some other. I couldn't even like some. Honestly, I think she probably copped it off the timeline.
Okay.
Either way, it is gigantic. Not like Radio Raheem, but like for me, it looks more vulture-y, way more vulture and try hard than your 2-piece, which I love.
Okay.
But it's like, whereas I think that's sick, and I would love to fucking bite your steez at some point in the future on that. With what did that see-through PO and then rope and Terminator's nut. In
It's
your
supposed to look.
fucking canines.
I told my grillman, I want it to look like Terminator nutted in my mouth.
And it does. It does look like
Thank
that.
you.
T1000 just fucking busted a fat load of
Yeah.
molten hot fucking, what is it? White gold.
T69.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So anyway, so Jenna, I'm like, I told her, I appreciate the thought that counts. I appreciate it. I'm not going to wear this. So now she's wearing it, and she's become like a big ring chick.
I saw the
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm rocking so I'm going to have a green pinky, but until I find some suitable
The
replacement.
only color that matters.
Yeah, that is true. And then Hanes Supreme boxer briefs, and New York Adorned and Lope, and I'm drinking DC and Greenpoint's finest.
Okay, let's get to the meat and potato blah, 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 of this podcast.
A lot of
Larry,
tangents.
we've
Jimmy.
been fucking must be carnivores the way we be beefing.
A5 Wagyu.
So we had
Wagyu the dog.
this podcast has gone 0 days without starting a new beef.
Yeah, shout out Robbie.
We had our beef that was squashed with dye workwear.
And again, ahead of the curve.
Crazy.
This man became the main character for
I know.
tweeting 100 times a day,
Well, that's
and the
what-
internet took his ass to task.
That's what everyone
I
is
feel
so.
bad.
Well, that's what everyone was so. He had people coming out to defend him, be like, "No, like he's a quality follow.
Yeah.
Like you should follow him." There's a reason why he's getting put in our timeline, and it's like such a simple answer. And like, yes, everyone just wanted to make a fucking mountain out of a molehill, but it's because he tweets like, "What do you think his tweet average is per day?"
I don't know, probably he has these threads that fucking go
Yeah.
crazy. I don't know, probably somewhere around 10 tweets a day, probably.
And there's a big reason why
More than I do in a week, I'll tell you that much.
There's a big reason why I'm seeing like big tittied sex workers on my timeline.
Thigh workwear.
Yeah, yeah. Thigh twerkwear.
Woo!
Which are like it's because they tweet a bunch and people that I follow like their shit.
And who are you? And who are you following?
No, and now Twitter's doing
Yeah.
the fucking Instagram thing where it's like, hey, you might like this
Sure,
because this
before
person liked it.
you Timeline.
Right. And yeah, I guess Derek just had to deal with a lot of that shit last week.
Yeah, and listen, good for him because he gave 6 interviews about it and he got a ton of fucking press. I'm sure his follower count only went up, and it was kind of funny that after our whole fucking shit was squashed, and shout out Derek, we've obviously moved way past that because we have a whole new array of beef,
Bro.
a whole
I'm tired of war.
I just want to go home, dude. We got whole new cuts on
Does
deck.
anybody want to drink before the
it was
war?
just so-
Oh, that'd be another fire outro song. Sinead O'Connor. Drink before the war.
Ooh, I mean, up to you, bro. I mean, you threw Skinner on there, so no. For me, it was crazy to see after everything that we went through and how we had to address it and how much that fucking sucked and the Reddit getting involved, whatever. But like us moving past it and then literally seeing him become the main character of Twitter, which you never want to become, for like an entire week, and all the fucking press about it, and then seeing him become part of the cycle where I was seeing backlash to the backlash, where then people were like defending the fucking incredible like rap writers that we used to work at that complex, being like, well, he's actually like a really great follow, like the backlash to the backlash. And I was like, I can't believe we have reached the fucking singularity of fucking die workwear on Twitter.com.
Well, we were busy. I mean, I wasn't really paying that much attention because we were busy dealing with a few beefs of our own.
Yes, let's
which
move on.
when last week's episode came out, and I made fun of the VIP list TikTok girls who were like, if you haven't been to Carbon, don't forget our fucking rock.
It was an innocent
Robbie, don't
impression.
include that in the sizzle reel because I think that's what they must have seen, which is
Well,
fine.
Well, real quick, I thought the impression was fair and accurate.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like
This is how they talk.
And I do think that they probably
Like
took
angry Muppets.
yeah, from Philly. I believe that they probably took umbrage with being called water trash in the description because I don't think they don't subscribe. They were not even familiar with us. There's no way that they listened to the episode. I think they may have seen the sizzle or their inclusion in the sizzle for 5 seconds and then the description of the show.
Another instance of proof that if girls don't like the fits, that's how you know they fired because they're like, oh, look how these guys fucking dress. And it's like, yeah, ma, the fits are gas.
Did you think that we got fairly dragged? I thought it was completely fair.
It was a little unfortunate that the most recent photo that they could pull up was us straight off the PJ. Straight off Air France business class. And we looked a little fucking haggard. Like, I ideally wouldn't have been in, like, my fucking glasses and would have been, like, wearing a hat or something.
Well, they used that, and then they used the promotional pic from that episode in question where, like, you have your bucket hat on. You look like
I looked awesome. I looked like a Gorpy Raven.
Yeah, and I thought it looked cool, too. I mean, the 1111 jean trousers were probably looking a little, cubicle to some degree.
I know.
Little khaki-ish. But I loved it. I thought it was great. I was happy that they played ball.
But we learned our lesson, and it was like, all right, one shot and, fucking shoot and move, right?
The thing that bothers...
Keep it frosty.
Yeah, 100%. Keep it frosty. Keep your head in a swivel. Maybe acknowledge it. Give them the repost, two-way street love, and keep it pushing. I was surprised... at the amount of people, and this is mainly on Reddit, so again, subhumans, who were like, this is marketing, this is like prearranged. Like, we didn't make fun of them on the show because we, either had this coordinated ahead of time. You're crazy. I didn't even know what they looked like, right? Well, they didn't know what we looked like. We didn't know what they looked like. But this idea that we're doing it purposely, it's like, what are you talking about?
I've made fun of
on the show.
I've made fun of them on the show before. Where it's just like, that's a project.
Kill yourself. That whole thing.
Fucking Carbone.
Yeah.
And then just so happened that they went to the same restaurant as you, the Uchi Sushi.
Right, exactly. They got
juicy Uchi.
They got the juicy Uchi, and that's where it came from. The amount of people that texted me about that beef, because they are a big deal on TikTok. They're much bigger than us, obviously. People were loving it. People were coming out of the woodwork to be like, yo, you guys are getting fucking torched. Sauteed and flambéed, no pun intended. I personally was a fan, and I loved it, so shout out to them.
That was beef number one. And then, not a beef.
No,
all right,
this is interesting.
But a exchange of ideas. Was last week you gave a pretty robust, your personal opinion on Kid Super at Louis Vuitton.
Vuitton.
And I included it in my what the show's about. I said full review of Kid Super at LV.
Your tweet recap of the episode.
Yeah, which I didn't say. I didn't say like trash. I didn't say like fire. I was just like full review. And we heard that he was kind of like he heard it. He definitely heard the column, heard the whole thing. I don't think he's a patron, so shout out to all my leakers.
Yeah, no, that was...
shout out to LA leakers.
The LA leakers who fucking... The LV leakers, dude. Fucking who sent it his way, which is fine.
But he tweeted back, he's like, hey, haha, like, I definitely deserve a rebuttal. And it's like, yeah, you do, for sure. If you want to discuss it, but, like, you can't say that... I guess what I took umbrage was, and there's some, like, DMs exchange and kind of, like...
all cordial,
all kind of like trying to set up a future sitting down of the intellectual giants that is throwing fits and Kid Super.
Yeah, a real old school style salon.
Yeah,
of ideas.
And whatever. I guess it's like whatever is expressed on this show very infrequently is factual.
It's typically what we do is opinion based.
It's afactual.
Yeah,
There's no facts.
Yeah. Well, that was his thing, and whether or not he agreed with the assessment aesthetically, intellectually of his work is one thing. I guess he was maybe more so annoyed at, again, potential inaccuracies that were
conjecture
that were thrown out as if they were word is bond,
rumors and conjecture. And I just want to say, hey, if Throwing Fits is your news source, fix your
grow up.
I will buy you a New York Times subscription.
It's only entertainment.
I'm not entertained.
The thing that
Are you not entertained?
The thing that I keep going back to, and I mentioned this to you and Robbie, or maybe even the Fab Five, Kobe. You never make it.
Well, I
How
I'm scared-
disrespectful to the legacy of Kobe and
I'm
Gigi.
scared of getting it under the oven, and now it fucking sucks. So usually I just kind of throw it like over there. That
Just-
time I made it and it rimmed out.
You throw it like it's horseshoes and hand grenades, you know?
Well, that time it rimmed out, but like if that wine bottle wasn't in there, I think it would have stuck.
The thing that's crazy to me, and I've had
What's that, Larry?
and I've had time to process this, is that we are at the point now where like obviously the show is like popular, and I think we have respected opinions, and our platform is like robust enough for like, not that I feel like I'm ever concerned with what I say going back to anyone, but like I'm starting to realize that like it is going to get back to that person 100% of the time. Like those
Yeah.
opinions. I don't know why I thought
It happened twice.
because
last week.
because of the paywall and because of sometimes the community insular nature of the program, I forget that like what we say, or people care about what we say, and people do care about our opinions of them, and it is going to get back to that person. And I wonder if that's going to potentially fuck me up from spitting fucking bars and hot takes.
I don't think we should hold back. I think like not to like really be self-inflecting for a second, but it is like if we allowed the fact that people that we talk about or brands that we talk about, whatever, like are going to eventually hear it, like that would be doing us and everyone else a
The
disservice
listeners a disservice, yeah,
to be like, oh, actually we can't fucking like
I don't
we're
want to be self-conscious is my point.
we're like, even though OL is we're stand 1 and stand 2, we can talk about how these are like vile genes, right?
Yeah. Per Jenna Blackwell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
But it's kind of crazy that you do think that. My concern is that like because it is a long form medium, as witnessed in You People starring Jonah Hill.
Yeah,
Because
the
it's a long-
Throne Fits biopic.
Because it's a long form medium, for example, like the VIP checklist, they were just like, oh, they just saw like the 1 second on like the sizzle reel and like water trash in the description. They didn't hear us call them flotsam and jetsam bitches.
Yeah.
And
And that was before we even knew that they
which
were
is a great fucking word.
They were hot blondes.
Okay, relax, bonk. But it's more like in the nature, just like instant fucking information, and people not necessarily like tuning in. Not that we're delivering grand soliloquies of like elegance and fucking refinement.
No.
But there's an hour plus.
contrary, in
It's an
fact.
hour plus of talking, but people will take like 2 seconds and be like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Or there is like a general like preconceived notion of like who we are and what we're about,
Yeah, I mean, and
as
also,
evidenced in You People.
yeah, and obviously, like when we're talking, we're just blacked out right now. I mean, you think I remember?
Yeah.
You don't even listen
out.
after the fact. You
Well,
don't even
fuck
review
no.
game tape.
No.
So he cannot even. Jim can't even be held remotely responsible for anything he says. I guess my thing. I just don't want to ever be self-conscious because like we have fun at the expense of everybody, ourselves included, and sometimes people are gonna get their little fucking tushies hurt. It's gonna happen. People get sore.
And to
That's
that I
human
say,
nature.
purchase a bidet.
Yeah.
Cure
Right.
those hemorrhoids right up.
Anyway, so that's the TF beef report. We'll let
Yeah.
you know who gets pissed off about this week.
Well, speaking of like having,
And also, I really don't like that people
okay.
think it is this intentional marketing thing. I just want to hammer that home.
That's
like,
crazy.
That's not why we're ever doing it.
we don't want to beef. No beef.
Our friends, the Ion Pack, have a great quote about beef, which is the only thing better than starting beef is squashing it. And I agree with. I think we agree with.
Yeah, it's squash season.
Yeah,
Kombucha, baby.
Yeah, dude.
Kombucha.
Gourds only.
Yeah. The gourd gods. Okay. But speaking of like kind of understanding or having like a misunderstanding of like the size and scope and like influence of Throwing Fits the podcast, we had a moment where we're doing a little photo shoot on a Tuesday morning, fucking light work.
Right. Get my notes
Where I said something while we were just the two of us apart from the photographer and the photographer assistant. And you were like, bro, that's the most Larry thing you've ever said to me in a minute.
Oh, you had such a fucking Larry moment, dude. That almost
Kill me.
That was so Larry that it made me like take a second look at myself and my own delusional shortcomings.
The only thing more Larry than the thing I said is the way that this microphone smells.
Yeah,
which is just a fucking an ashtray outside a bar.
100%. And you and I we're going to talk about both of our kind of we both have examples, or maybe it's like two sides of the same coin of delusions of grandeur. But what you said to me really shook me to my Larry core, which was you gave me two examples, and you were just mentioning these in passing, where you were lamenting the fact where you somehow interface with a cool guy. Maybe it is a furniture delivery dude decked out in Carhartt doing Carhartt shit, but like in this like cool, young, tasteful way.
Speaking of which, new podcast table, new Lawrence work desk.
Shout out Lycan.
Shout out Lycan, the homies out in Ridgewood.
We forgot to address this last week, but
custom made for me, and I can't wait for to spend a lot of money for this thing to get fucking dinged up and fucked up by pulling double duty as a dining table and a podcast studio table.
You've had this now, like less than a month, and you were already thinking about getting a separate table that we should pod on so that this can stay in its rightful spot for food and Jimmy emails.
Well, I think just moving it around is not great for like the general structure of it.
Or the 11.
It's still settled. It's still settling in. You know, it's still the wood's settling in.
So whether it's the fucking cool guys delivering,
it's cherry,
the new custom table,
it's a slab of cherry wood.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's no hardware.
I believe that
there's no hardware on this. It's all just resting.
I believe that APC's Jean Tuitu would pronounce it a bit different.
Cherry? How would he pronounce cherry?
I don't know. I was going to ask you that. This is now we're doing a bit from you people, literally, which is.
Oh, really?
Do you see the N words in Paris bit?
Oh, well,
you get to that?
Which honestly stolen right from us.
Okay.
Come on, I always ask you who was in Paris.
Who is in Paris? So whether it's again cool guys delivering custom cherry blossom. No,
cherry. It's just cherry.
Yeah. What is a cherry blossom? Is the flower cherry wood? Yeah, but a cherry blossom is a tree.
Your Carhartt pass has been revoked.
Yeah, it's you might find it around my ankles. Okay, so whether it's guys delivering fucking cool custom tables or the assistant to a very cool photographer that is assisting on a shoot for a very cool magazine,
like Solomon's and Dickies and like.
Your point was when I interface with the cool guy, and the cool guy clearly, and this is where the delusion comes in.
It doesn't be a cool guy, by the way. It could be a cool girl.
When a guy who, when a cool person
or a normie
who looks a certain way sees me, and I can just see the glimmer of acknowledgement. You just want that person to outright introduce themselves, say that they're a fan, versus this idea of whether it's beating around the bush till a later point in the conversation or just not even mentioning it at all. You wanted all the cards out on the table off rip.
If there's a glimmer,
which is insane.
If there's a glimmer, yes, that's an insane thing to say. But in this scenario where the person interfacing, whether it is like one-on-one or passing by the street or like in the same bar, restaurant, whatever, if there's a glimmer of recognition, I'd rather they'd be like, "Yo, Jimmy, yo, Throwing Fits," than just kind of like have to slightly dance around that. And that's like coming from someone who there's an element of like social anxiety when it comes to like interfacing with fans or recognition on the street, which I still am not used to it. Yeah. I still don't know. Every single time I'm just like, oh, what the fuck did I just say?
I was just really appreciate it. I try to be gracious.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to be like, yo, what up? Like, yo, nice jacket, nice shoes, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Pay it forward.
Yeah, so it's that like, it's that kind of like awkward. I mean, and it's not just that, but it's at any interaction where it's like, oh, I know you, or we've met before, but like, that.
It could be. Listen, I understand what you're saying. Can make things more awkward than they need to be when we could be potentially having an awesome interaction for both parties. We're kind of like, dragging it out and making it this weird awkward thing. I will say, you and I have said a ton of regrettable things, not just on the podcast like we just mentioned, but to each other. I was just really flabbergasted that you would say that to me because that's like a Larry thing that you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe you're even telling me this in private. I was surprised that you just were forthright with delivering that information.
Maybe I'm being more open in 2023.
I hope so. I would love that.
Fucking thought about that. You dumb fuck.
I was just really surprised that
fat broke bitch.
Yeah, dude.
You're not broke or fat.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. But yeah, that was just very funny.
How's your eating disorder?
It's good. It's going. Hey, dude, I'm falling completely off the wagon.
Oh, really?
I'm eating normally.
Two meals a day?
Normally, dude. It's terrible, bro. I'm eating all the Peruvian chicken I can get my fucking grubby little hands on.
Someone was like, yo, wait, who was it? Was it Bret Easton Ellis? No. Someone was like, yo, it's you can't. The food's too good to be anorexic. Oh, Stavi.
Oh, and when he was doing the Kid Super stand-up.
When he was doing the Kid Super stand-up, he's like, the food's too good to be anorexic in France. You want to be bulimic.
We were even planning a meeting with a friend of ours, Chris Corrado. I don't know why I'm like trying to dance around it. And he was like, we were trying to set up a lunch thing where he was like, is that going to interfere with your intermittent fasting? And I was like, oh, damn. Is this like a thing that people are like judging me about now? Like enough people know. I was going to say I'm not really out there with it, but I do talk about it on the pod, but I just wouldn't expect...
Hey, man.
I wouldn't expect him to know that, but anyway. So, Larry, listen, you're telling me that the guy with the eating disorder is self-conscious?
Hey, man.
Come on now.
Just everyone's got their own demons.
Okay. Should we talk about Brett and Nomi?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, we had ourselves another Jimmy Larry mandate evening, day for the ages.
Yeah.
So we did the Claire pod. That was a blast. It coming in like 2-ish, maybe 3 weeks.
Keep it
That was
locked.
just a lot of fun. Great hospitality.
Smell-o-vision coming soon.
I've never really closely observed you smoking cigarettes, but you are
What are
very.
you talking about?
You're very.
Really?
You're very
Jittery?
jittery with the ashing.
I'm a chain smoker.
You're constantly ashing.
I suck them down.
I had like 3.
I blast stars. Well, it was like limited. You know, he only had like, he had like a pack that had already been demolished. That was like his like secret pack. And honestly, I related with Tane because his whole thing was, wifey hates when I smoke. So like I have this office.
Yeah,
pack.
he
And I
covers
was
it
like,
up with covers it up with gigantic
Just
doinks.
huge fucking gorilla dicks, dude.
Fucking elephant balls.
He probably smoked 3 blunts on pod, 2.5.
Maybe like 2.5.
Yeah,
He was like
fucking gas.
he had like one lit in the ashtray and like lit a second one and then was kind of like going back and forth. Maybe it's like different strains. I don't know. It was awesome.
He had the side dick. So after we potted, we went to Bernie's. We got like an early dinner, and then we busted over to McNally Jackson. Right?
Yes.
It's like an event space.
It's like an event space in the Alamo Draft House Mall in downtown Brooklyn.
Yeah, what is that mall called? I go to the Alamo all the time, but what is that mall?
I don't fucking know.
Is that a terminal? That's not Atlantic Terminal.
No,
That's a
it's not,
separate thing.
no.
But anyway, we went to see Nomi, and so Brett is promoting The Shards.
Brett Easton Ellis wrote a 2,000-page
Just
book
real
called
quick,
The Shards.
You called him B, like Queen Bee, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking
B-E-E.
about?" Do people call him B though?
They don't call it B, but they do like BEE, like written out.
So that was just your own little.
I made
pet
Queen
name?
Bee as like a little like homoerotic thing, you know?
Oh, right, he is Queen Bee.
Yeah, or King Bee. I don't
Well, he's gay, so Queen.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, so we went to see Nomi and Brett do a talk about Brett's new book, The Shards.
like a short interview, which Nomi led, and she was telling me before, and she's like, I'm super nervous. This is like kind of a big deal. Nate Freeman, who we ran into, was like, yo, whoever put this together is a fucking genius. This is like a great little slice of like right now. Whoever organized this is like fucking fire for putting these two together. Who we saw Nate Freeman outside of this. The one thing about this event space was that it was very hard to find.
No one knew where they were going. It was a bunch of, it was like the blind leading the blind all over the fucking street. We kind of like made our way through multiple groups of people who were all.
Oh, speaking of like
asking each
narcissism,
other.
you were kind of upset that that we were walking on the street and Nate, who I didn't recognize at first because he's wearing a Chanel beanie pulled all the way down. He's like, yo, James.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, what am I fucking chopped liver? I'm right here. And then I ultimately just was roasting him for a Chanel beanie. But yeah, I was a little offended that it wasn't like, and maybe this is me being a narcissist, but it wouldn't. It's like, hey, Jimmy and Larry, or hey, James and Lawrence, versus like, hey, James, and then, oh, okay, other guy. Because like, we both know Nate.
I don't know, dude. Maybe he didn't recognize you. What were you wearing?
What was I wearing?
It's
I was
'cause
wearing
you-
the same puffer.
Yeah, you were wearing the puffers.
The
Like,
electric piss.
there's no way.
Austria.
There's no way Lawrence would wear a climbing brand puffer.
Oh, please, dude.
The Gore-Tex cap.
The Gore-Tex capper himself.
But yeah, it was fire. It was very fucking packed. This was very much
sceney, too.
It was sceney. There were shout out Gregory is an idiot. He was in the crowd. Shout out Juan. He was in the crowd.
We saw Greg when we were leaving Claire earlier, remember? Wait, Greg was there?
Call him by his full name. Gregory's an idiot.
We saw Mr. Idiot later that night? Or
I saw him in the crowd.
Oh, okay.
And then on the cord, people were like, yo, like, I'm here, I'm there. Jimmy and Larry, what are they there? Whatever.
The line was crazy.
Bro.
And we'll talk about the finesse real quick, but just a quick little name drop segment. We saw Bryn Wallner. We saw Harry Hill.
Shout out Harry Hill.
We saw Simon Rex. We saw Kat Marnell. We saw Annie Hamilton. We saw Susan Alexandra. It was a fucking Nate Freeman, James Harris, Lawrence Schloss.
It was real who's who of
Yeah.
the literati.
So anyway, we finally figure out where we're going, and we pull up to a huge line. And one of the groups that was following us, I don't know if you caught this, but a guy goes,
see that.
this guy goes, who was like, kind of like, trailing our wake. He was like, so like, we're not on the list. Like, can we just cruise in with you guys? And I was like, well, we're just cruising in with that guy. So you're asking the wrong dude. But we did experience a little of the Nate Freeman magic.
Dude, watching Nate Freeman sneak into parties like watching Michelangelo sculpt.
Yeah, right. 100%.
Even though our names were on the list. Like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
not fucking...
But it was
be clear.
It was nice to skip that line, go right to the front, decline the signed first editions because we already have galleys.
Yes.
My spine hasn't been cracked. You
No.
read the book.
I read the book. Quick review of the book, of The Shards.
Yes. Should we also talk about like why we got galleys and why you busted down the galley so fast?
Yes. Well, I didn't bust it down so fast. I read it and I really enjoyed it. We were given galleys because we were going to pod with him in California, and while he wasn't the reason why we went to LA in December, he was an early kind of like confirmation of a guest.
A booking.
And we're like, all right, let's pick that. Let's do that week.
Yeah.
And let's kind of build out around that. He, through the publicist, while he agreed to do it on a Friday, and on a Monday, the publicist was like, hey, Brett all of a sudden changed his mind over the weekend. It's not going to happen. We're like, what the fuck?
I think we've joked about this before, and
Maybe listen.
And
I don't know.
Yeah, and the joke kind of justification was like he did 1 ounce of research and was like, fuck these guys. When actually, I believe it was the video, because this was when we were starting to really lean into the recording of the guests, so we can get these like.
Oh, right.
clips
They were like, you can only record the first 5 minutes of the podcast. And we're like,
Well,
okay.
they were the offer on the table was: do you want a recording, video of Brett in the first 5 minutes, or do you want recording of Brett video in the last 5 minutes or whatever it was? And we were like, we're not sure, like what would be better. And then while we were trying to like debate what we wanted ourselves, probably would have gone with the intro. He declined, and I think it might have been his uncomfortability with being on camera, and then also hosting us in his home.
No, his office. It was going to be his office.
Well, either way, his personal space.
And it was the initial offer was over Zoom, and I guess if we had just like accepted that and
Yeah.
done a Zoom pod, which we hate doing,
Right.
Because Zoom pods are fucking terrible.
But he probably would have done it, or he definitely.
Yeah, but Zoom pods.
Nah, fuck that.
Zoom pods across the
I
board are
also want
fucking
to
whack.
go to Bret Easton Ellis's office, bro.
And it was like near whatever. Okay, so the book is like 600 pages. It's a half memoir, half like horror mystery
Serial
killer on the
thriller.
loose in like 1980s LA. Every sentence he mentions like a fucking song that he's listening to in his car. The detail's crazy. And it's him as a 57-year-old like man now as Bret Easton Ellis, remembering his youth as Bret Easton Ellis in high school, writing Less Than Zero, and like taking inspiration from real people that he actually went to high school with, but combining with a serial killer. The whole book, and this is so funny because he literally, not repeating me, but like I was talking to Nomi a little bit beforehand because she and I were talking about something else, and I was like, yo, the whole book's a vibe. And he literally was saying that.
Yeah, he used the word vibe. A hangout novel.
It's a hangout novel.
Where it's just vibes only.
Yeah, him canceling on me did like put a sour taste, or on us did put a sour taste in my mouth.
Oh, okay.
And I will say that like the ending is fucking whack.
Not satisfactory.
Yeah, and like it was very enjoyable.
Unsatisfactory.
It was very enjoyable to read, but then like in terms of like tying it up, it was whatever. And I know he's done that with like fucking American Psycho, and he's always like, oh, like is it real? Was it all in his head?
Right.
Was
right.
it? And it's like
it's ambiguous, which is a hallmark of B.
sure.
Queen bee.
With this, it was like, oh, all these things are happening. All these things are happening. And I'm gonna just wrap it up in 5 pages.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I'm over
okay.
it. I'm
Yeah.
over it. Well, from a book review, let's get into what the people really want, which is a fit check of both Nomi and Brett, just real quick. Because I mean, you kind of made fun of me. I was taking copious notes. I was locked in.
You were like in an academic reading, bro.
Well,
Every time. Okay, let me just say this. This is one of my only observations from this. And then you can get into your notes, your pages of notes.
It's fucking 3 lines.
Anytime B would mention a movie, you'd be like, you, and I was sitting next to you, you'd be like, oh, yeah.
Come on, dude.
No,
Really?
seriously, you'd be like, yeah, like you know that Richard Linklater, be like, oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, just so smug and sanctimonious.
Yes, movie. Yes.
Oh yes, me and B have the same taste.
Oh
in
yes,
flicks.
movie. Yes.
All right. So what was interesting is I don't know if this was planned. Nomi was doing her all white thing, and then Brett was doing his thing where he was in all black. So it was kind of like
That wasn't planned, but it was cool.
Yeah, yin
And she had the fucking Needles cardigan on that she stole from Narc Dad or bought from Narc Dad.
So we'll get into it. So we'll go bottom up. So Nomi had on white dance goes. She had white painter double knees. She had some white graphic tee, and then the piece de resistance, which she removed because I would imagine it was hot.
Under those
bright
lights next to the Queen.
Was a Needles mohair cardigan that she somehow acquired from Narc Dad.
Yeah.
Noah Johnson.
Similar to the one I was gonna. It's not here anymore.
So what did you think of Brett's fit? Because and obviously with Brett, with B-E-E, there's an R around him. Like he's a leggy, right? Like he's a goat. I think I don't think anyone would disagree with that, right?
Sure.
So like his fit on like your uncle wouldn't look as cool, but I was like really into it. He had the Hokas on. He had dark denim. Again, you know,
Skinny.
something that we've been talking about.
Pretty
Skinny-ish,
skinny.
slim straight. He had on a black polo and then a black zip-up hoodie over it, which is something that I would never wear. And I know zip-up hoodies are a thing that I feel like because of Y2K and the kind of reverberations from that trend is like a thing that's coming back that like I don't know if I would ever buy or wear, but I was like, yo, he looks fucking cool, dude. But I was into.
I mean, he was cool. I don't know if the film was cool, but like he's a great public speaker.
Mm-hmm.
He was enthralling. He was entertaining. He like jumped.
Just,
I mean, Nomi was very good at kind of playing like the yin to his yang.
Yeah,
just let him cook. But giving him
Absolutely.
prompts where Goat Move by Nomi, having him acknowledge his all-timer Coke tweet.
Yeah, him agnowledging the Coke tweet was great.
Which he talks about in his memoir, White, which I also read.
This is from, okay, let me paint the scene. It is December 3rd, 2012. It is 2:13 a.m. I don't know if this screen cap is from East Coast time or if it was West Coast time, but the tweet is very simple, and I believe it was meant to be sent as a DM because it is simply, come over at, I think he means and, do bring Coke now. Classic. Right to the Zood board.
In his, like, and he mentioned White in the talk, in his, cultural examination of, like, the Gen X versus
Which you said is
millennials.
like the angry white man novel, or is it essays? Is it a collection of essays, or is
It's
it?
like
It hasn't aged well. Is your
it's
point.
parts of it have, parts of it haven't.
Okay.
There's a whole part on Twitter and how he loves Twitter and how
Clearly.
and
And
how
Coke.
he probably agrees with Elon Musk that it is like the civilization's town hall.
Yeah.
Where it is just kind of like you just post musings and whatever, and now
Mm-hmm.
it's become this whatever the fuck where you see dye workwear every single day.
Right.
But he talked about that tweet and he's like, yeah, like I would drink tequila, take Xanax,
Sick.
and just
Sick.
tweet at night, just like tweet whatever like my thoughts were from that day. And that was
love it.
it was a mistaken DM. I don't think it was
man
at
after my own heart.
I think it was at 11 p.m. LA time, not 2 a.m.
So yeah, I mean that's we're just getting the party started at that point. That's a completely respectable. Two other things that he acknowledged that I found very interesting was, one, as someone who reads every Patreon exit survey, I'm on the fucking Reddit reading everyone hating on us.
That's the only thing you do read.
Yeah, no, truly. Lord knows it wasn't the shards. He reads the Amazon reviews, which
Yeah.
is really interesting, and how he acknowledges that like certain books are like it's either a 5-star or a 1-star, or like certain books like the classics of his, like American Psycho, whatever, have this.
No,
like,
only rules of attraction he's saying
Oh,
is like
that was the one.
consistently
Oh.
4, 3.5,
Right,
4, 4.5.
Oh, right.
It's always at 4. Everything else is like 5-1, 5-1, like the fucking trash or
Yeah.
classic.
Have you ever seen the film adaptation with
Not in its
James
enti-
Vanderbeek and?
not in its entirety.
Oh, it's pretty good. I actually don't mind it. Actually, probably due for rewatch. Okay, so we got the Amazon reviews.
He talks shit about James Vanderbeek in that book White.
I'm
Honestly,
sure.
the best part about that book White is kind of when he gives like glimpses of behind the scenes of like
production.
the making of American Psycho, the making of American Psycho, the musical, him working with and having opinions on Kanye West in like MAGA yay, not like
Okay.
slavery's a choice yay,
Not Hitler
not
yay.
Hitler yay.
Gotcha. Not Deutschland
not,
version.
not Yadolf, but
Yeah.
the stuff on Ye did not age well. That was probably the part that definitely soured the hardest.
One other thing he said that he acknowledges, which is something that I brought up to you that I really was curious about kind of diving deep into on the pod, because the Bateman, it literally me, Sigma shit, like that we kind of talk, like that style of meme. I follow a lot of accounts that like post that stuff. I think ironically, at least I hope ironically, he sees all of that and acknowledges it, which is crazy, because I'm like, I wouldn't expect that. He's 57 years old. I wouldn't necessarily expect that more like niche internet content, even though like it is about the source material that it is referencing the source material that he wrote, that he created, his character. I was really surprised that he like sees that Sigma male
I don't think
grind said Bateman stuff. At least
I
that's
think
how I perceive
it's
what he
less that, and it's more he sees how many people dress up as Bateman on Halloween.
said. Well, it was-
And that
it
shit
was
is like
both.
more Facebook fucking boomer Gen X friendly than like the fucking ironic red pilled Catholics.
Sure. Speaking of Ye in American Psycho, do you remember the Yeezus promo where Disick does the if you like you might be familiar with Yeezus, like that was honestly fucking sick.
Yeah.
All right, one final thing. The moral of the story that I got with him talking about the shards, this idea of like, he's referencing his past and he was going on Facebook and looking up, girls that he knew and boys and people that slighted him. The moral that I got from this whole thing is be nice to the weird gay kid you go to school with, because if that dude blows up, you're going to get your fucking ass cooked in a book at some point.
And
Keep your head on a fucking swivel, guys.
Yeah. Be nice to the gays.
If there was ever a selfish reason to be all inclusive and to keep an open mind so that you don't get sauteed and flambéed on the summer jam screen,
no.
50 years later.
You always want to be nice to the fucking
40 years
weird
later.
quiet kid because A, school shooters, or B, closeted homosexual that's going to come out with a scathing 1,000-page vibe book
Takedown. Yeah.
takedown of you, 40 years later.
Yeah. Oh, and then finally, and this is our little debate. The audience was asking questions. Someone asked.
It was Harry Hill.
Oh, it was Harry. Shout out Harry. Harry asked a question about, like, if he could have lunch and dinner with any, or 2 separate meals, but if he could have it with any of his characters, who would he pick? And Brett went into a whole fucking spiel. But one thing that he mentioned that I wanted to debate with you is that Brett Easton Ellis prefers having sex. He prefers fucking before dinner versus fucking after dinner. And I wanted to ask you if you agree with that take.
Well, he's like, dinner's a little more illicit because there's always the possibility what happens after dinner. And yes, like that tension is very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's happening at the afters?
Who knows?
But from a logistical and like physiological standpoint, I think fucking before dinner,
From a purely anthropological standpoint.
not anthropological, physiological, like having to do with the corporal self.
Scientific standpoint.
Yeah, anatomical, biological. You want to fuck
I'm
before
not
dinner.
intellectual, my bad.
You want to fuck before dinner because as someone that doesn't eat dinner, you forget that like after dinner,
Yeah.
do you really want to be like moving around?
Absolutely.
You want to fucking splay out and like watch You People starring Jonah Hill and us.
Oh, you want to work up an appetite too. You want to work.
Yeah, that's the other thing,
You
and I
wanna
think
earn that meal.
Exactly. It's kind of like it's like from a primordial biological standpoint, it's the hunt and the kill, right? It's the most like necessity, the bare necessities, the fucking and the eating.
It's flight or fuck.
Yeah. Good episode title, but we can't use it.
Ah, damn it.
But yeah, I think it absolutely before dinner because like
Yeah, I
after
agree.
dinner, like you're full, you might have some poo poo in your butt. So that's for me, and that's usually more with like someone you're more like a girlfriend or like someone you're more comfortable
Right. I
with.
was say good luck recommending this on a first date.
Yeah, exactly.
You might end up missing your dinner reservation because
also,
they
like,
were canceled.
Your senses are heightened. Everything tastes better. Everything smells better. It's that post nut meal clarity.
It truly, that post nut palate.
Yeah,
That could be
there
a
you
good
go.
title.
Yeah.
Post nut palate. Anyway, so yeah, maybe not the hottest take, but yeah, I think that just in summation, you and I had a really great time, even if I was like smug, whether it was me smugly agreeing.
Oh yes, American Gigolo.
Oh yeah, I definitely did it for that.
Which that was the movie that like
great fucking Paul Schrader, baby.
that was the movie that made him realize he was gay. That was his sexual awakening movie.
I mean, dude, I'm not to be Jake Wolf on TikTok, but the fits are spectacular. All our money. It's all our money. Shout out fucking Richard Gere, man.
yeah. Okay, so that was the B. Is that?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Me
it was
being
short.
me being the dumbass that I am, I'm like, oh, okay, let's go for content. But I actually really enjoyed it. And that's no slight against Nomi. Obviously, like I think when I saw her immediately after, I was like, yo, it's fucking sick, and I high-fived her on some bro shit. But it was a good time. But we immediately absconded.
Are you not going to read the book?
Fuck no.
You got everything you needed out of that. All right.
Yeah,
No, we immediately had to jet off.
That it's not enjoyable.
No, it's really enjoyable. You can't put it down for 595 pages, and then the last 5 pages, you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
it was one of those books where
hit the wrap it up button.
it was one of those books where and this happens to me, and I don't know what it says about me, but it's like a lot of books, if they're really good, I don't want to finish them, and so I don't read them because like I'm having such a good time reading them.
Totally.
This, it was too fucking late. I was like, wait, it just ended? What the hell?
Damn, dude.
And it was over.
Blink and it's over. You
Yeah.
hate to see that.
Also, fuck Brett Easton Ellis for canceling on us.
But we absconded immediately.
Yeah, maybe our next beef is with B.
The
Putting the B in beef.
the mandate extravaganza continued as we made our way to Jersey City, to the
Yeah.
Liberty Science Center.
And this was
Planetarium.
like a question that was like, are we gonna do this? Should I hit up Cam? Should you hit up Cam? How hard should we like go for it? Is it rude if we like get on the list and then not show up to the Lil Yachty listening party,
Right.
which is at the Liberty Science Center
Yeah.
Planetarium in Jersey City?
Which a
quick
quick
30-minute ride from downtown
a
Brooklyn.
hop, skip, and a jump, through multiple boroughs to Jersey. So once we
Although I did have to charge my phone at the front of the car, and it felt like a goddamn eternity.
Oh, I can only imagine, dude. I was just fucking chilling and cruising on the time.
And I forgot to put it on silent, so like I could hear it just like.
I was reviewing all yeah. Your phone
You're
is so
typing out
fucking
your
loud.
notes.
I was reviewing all of my notes from the B. But yeah, I think that it was one of those things where once we kind of like, because here's the deal, right? These industry events, which like you have been to so many, having been like in the industry itself. I probably have been to less, but these things always they disappoint more more than they are like, wow, dude, what a night to remember.
Okay.
So you never know because it's the dubious nature of the entertainment value.
Two things. One, while they always disappoint, part of that is because you and the people listening home and everyone kind of like, you had to manage your expectations. You were like,
Totally.
oh.
Okay.
And you said this in the car. I wish I'd written this down, but I didn't have my phone on me. You go, I'm on my clout chasing, thirsty ass, fit pick taking motherfucking demon self tonight.
Oh, 100%.
Something like that.
Because I was like, yeah, who's going to be there?
You're
Like, obviously.
Well, Tane earlier was like, yeah, I think Drake's still in town.
Yes, that's right.
So like he's going to be there. And we're just like, yo, what the fuck? You're like, yo, if there's a 5% chance that I can be Big Scorp, you don't fucking going to Jersey City.
I was doing fucking mental math out the wazoo to make it make sense.
And it was like,
make it make sense.
It was like, all right, we're gonna get there at 9. The showing or whatever starts at 9:30. That was allegedly the last showing. Although it's like, the expectations always have to be this: it's gonna be so fucking late, running so fucking behind.
Yep.
This was running an hour and a half behind. Mobbed. You're not gonna meet anyone,
and you're not gonna be as finessed as you think you are,
and you're just standing there listening to the music.
Right.
With like Pusha when we went to the Coachella, that was he
wasn't
rapping, but he was like on stage, not with a microphone, but he was like rapping along, and that was cool.
Kind of more of a performance than this listening, viewing. Though I will say, of every fucking listening I've ever been to, this was also on another level of coolness.
That's what I was gonna say. So like, one, our expectations were absolutely mismanaged. Where it's like, yo, we're gonna flick up with fucking Boat. We're gonna flick up with Drake.
Like, yo, how hard do we like press Boat to like get Boat on the show? Like,
which TBD, stay tuned.
Fingers
but yes, in terms of an actual listening experience, I thought this was. And let's start from the beginning. So we pull up Cam Hicks, who creative directed the entire album, the entire project, and put together the visuals.
Friend of the show
that accompany
previous guest,
the music.
Hicks. I don't know if his name's
and I
Cameron.
guess, well, what else would it be?
Maybe just Cam, right?
No.
Cameron Hicks.
It's gotta be Cameron
Hicks. Go Cameron Hicks. Cameron Hicks.
Tall drink of water.
Oh, what a beautiful man.
Seriously.
Glowing.
Which we get walked in with Cam's Angels. Probably, it was 3 women. 2 of them, maybe some of those like beautiful women I've ever seen in real life in a minute.
Have you ever been around Cam and he's not been surrounded by like a gaggle of gorgeous women?
Yeah.
Beautiful bitches.
The whole night we were doing ourselves no fucking favors by like the speculation where we get out of the Uber and there's this old school kind of like 1990s Benz. And we're like, yo, is that Tyler?
It was a Beamer, and it was like
a Beamer?
M3. Yeah.
That was a Benz.
No, it was positive. It was a BMW.
Okay, it was a Beamer. You're like, is that Frank? Frank likes Beamers.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, is it Tyler?
Yeah.
Is it Frank?
And he was wearing a hat that looks like Tyler's like golf wang hat.
And we're going through, and it was funny because Cam is like, yeah, come here immediately. I'll get you into the loading dock. So you don't have to, at least we don't have to wait in line because it was open to the public. Yachty was promoting it on social, which is how I saw it because Cam promoted it on Close Friends and was like, tap in if any homies want to click up.
So we get walked in, and it was
it was neither of those guys.
No,
but it was. I knew
2
who
cool
it was,
guys,
which we don't need to.
The guy I thought was Tyler was like, yo, what up? And I was like, oh, what up? See that the recognition.
But
they didn't know who we were.
No. But that guy is a guy. Okay. Which I showed you his Instagram. Whatever.
I'm talking about the other guy. But yeah, shout out Cam.
We saw Fish Money.
Cam's Angels. Yeah, Fish Money, who was at the Claire Cave with us, was just like popped up out of nowhere.
And was so high, dude. Fried. That's a fried fish.
It's a fish fry.
Shout out the spiciest white boy, the most quirked up white boy, goated with the sauce in the Lower East Side.
The Travis Kelce,
the city.
The Travis Kelce of downtown. Yo, Travis Kelce had a Capitol jacket on.
Really?
Like the woven shit. Yeah.
Damn.
Is he swaggy?
He might be. He might be goated with the sauce. I mean, he's
I know
the
black
greatest
dudes,
tight end of all time.
I know black dudes love him because he has like the most fire fucking fade.
He does have a fucking tight fucking fade for sure.
Okay, so we get in there, and yeah, it's in a planetarium, and again, I thought that no idea what the music was going to be. It was clear that there was going to be some sort of like psychedelic like influence on it. That like the emojis with all the social media was just like mushrooms and shit.
Yeah.
Which upon first like realizing that, I was like, oh, come on, this is just going to be like Rocky being like on his acid shit. This is going to be like mainstream psychedelia, which like isn't.
Expectations were low.
I guess Tame Impala, people are like drawing comparisons there.
Boat Impala, YMGT, MGMT. I don't know.
MGMT
whatever.
was not trippy.
I feel like there was. I was getting some MGMT vibes, but I'm not familiar with like that funkadelic shit as you are.
Well, I fucking really and yes, like I only want to listen to albums in planetariums now.
Yeah, it was
Because
sick.
like A, the sound was fire. B, you're just chilling there like this. We didn't get to eat any of the candy. You're just chilling there like looking up and like so relaxing. You fell asleep. That's how relaxing it was.
and I was woken up by some guy sprinting
That
out
was
of
weird.
a row. What was,
That was
I
weird.
was like, yo, I hope this guy's okay. It seemed like something was going down.
Who's on a fucking school shooter?
No, but I was definitely fucking vibing like crazy. You said that that's the biggest planetarium in the Western Hemisphere.
Allegedly.
Bigger than Hayden?
What? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with your planetarium game.
Oh, well, the Hayden Planetarium is a planetarium at the Museum of Natural History.
Okay.
So as someone who grew up in the city, I thought you might be familiar with the game.
Later that weekend, I Googled Golf Ball Planetarium, and they're like, yeah, some article from like 2021 was like, largest planetarium in the Western Hemisphere opens up at Liberty Science Center. But it was like a New Jersey.
Fire.
It was a New Jersey newspaper, so it might have just been like false propaganda.
It was just a Star Ledger talking big smoke like we do every week.
I had thought that like maybe they were handing out like chocolate mushrooms or
Same.
something. Oh my God. And what I fucked up is that we were offered allegedly fire mushrooms earlier
yeah.
that day
blew it, yeah.
and forgot them in our haste to pack up and take the fit pick with Claire.
Yeah.
If we had those, that would have been the
Maybach.
fucking perfect
Yeah.
like the perfect scenario, because the visuals were, and yes, it was because we were there for like over an hour, and like it was sensory overload with like immersive as fuck.
Yeah.
Huge sound, huge screen. Not being distracted by, because you're facing up, not being distracted by the children we were surrounded by.
Oh my God, brutal.
And the fucking dime pieces. But you're just looking up and you're just seeing like crazy shit, looking up for an hour. And yeah, I felt, and Cam confirmed this, I was like, yeah, I was getting like, it was real like Funkadelic, like the Chambers Brothers, like Sly and the Family Stone, like that type of shit, like funk soul. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly right. Like a lot of George Clinton, a lot of Funkadelic, maybe not Parliament, Funkadelic.
It's good. Speaking of vibes, like Brett's books, this is a vibe record. I was surprised how much Jenna enjoyed it as we were just playing it Saturday morning, getting ready for a day. Like
it's nice to listen
enjoyable.
to. It's nice to listen to quietly. It's nice to listen to loud.
Yeah.
I don't really
shit
like
was blaring in the planetarium.
I don't like the horror, like the bad trip moment where it's like a
yeah.
horror rock song.
Yeah.
But everything else it's perfectly enjoyable. And I'm not really that familiar with Boat's game, except for like
Poland,
a few songs here and there in Poland.
Minnesota,
Say My Name, which I think is a
Broccoli.
I don't know.
You know the big
Broccoli's
hitters.
Dram featuring Yachty.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like that's. I believe if you were to go on like Spotify, it's probably the #1 song on Yachty's page. Or
And In and Out.
Artist page.
In and Out. A
Yeah.
fucking hour. There was a quite a sobering moment when the lights came up at the end, and I look around. I was like, oh my God, the average age in here is like 16.
Yeah.
And this one fucking like antisocial social club Herb, 16-year-old, started cyberbully your ass. He goes to friends and goes, yo, I think I heard Travis on that one track. I was like, oh my God, get me out of here.
Sounded like me in the Uber over there. Well, and here's the thing, right? We got the VIP treatment in that we were finessed in. We didn't have to wait in line. Cam is escorting us to like the ushers to get seated so that we didn't miss any of the immersive listening experience. But we were with like the unwashed masses, the people that were like, RSVPing whatever.
They're live IGing the whole thing.
On whatever flyer. But like, it's crazy to then see later that, guess what? Offset was there. Big Scorp was there
at the second showing.
We thought everything was running so late that we
were actually at the 7:30 showing that started at
9:30, or 9 whatever. So we were at the second last showing. So and listen, do I think that like my opportunity to be a clout chasing thirst ball, like would it have been there? Was that potentially on the table? Maybe, but we were not in like that VIP section, and that's where like the delusion of grandeur of like we're Throwing Fits, the only podcast that matters. We can bully Kid Super. We can do whatever we want. It's like we get hooked up. We get the homie hook up, and shout out to Cam, the fucking best dude. We love you, homie. Thank you again, even though you're never gonna hear this. But we're like at a certain level. We're not getting ASAP Bari treatment or whatever the fuck, We
didn't even get free candy. Well, because we came in late.
We could have if we wanted.
I definitely. I was walking behind you to our seats, like when the usher was showing us our seats, and we were like hopping over people's legs and like stepping over people's legs. You stepped on some kid's pile of candy, and he like looked at you, he's like, yo. Or he looked at his homie.
Well, that was really annoying because
he looked at his homie and he was like, oh, what the fuck? And yeah, no one was like, no one was moving their shit for us.
I guess it's because we were being a little late, but no one was being, all these fucking 16-year-old, Travis Scott IDing ragers and anti-social social club. No one was being even remotely cordial to the old guys trying to get to their seats.
Yeah. I can't
imagine why.
Can you hear my knees?
Yeah, right. Just fucking.
But what a
these
fucking
creaky old bastards.
What a fucking evening in the Big Apple from sitting there while big doinks are blown in our face with the next luxury streetwear brand that's on every rapper, to attending a Q&A with a New Yorker staff writer and noted author Brett Easton, noted Coke tweeter Brett Easton Ellis. Yeah,
noted gay Coke addict.
He's the third Coke boy.
Yeah, dude, for real. Shout him out.
To going to Jersey City, which looked like a fucking like Potemkin Village, Williamsburg.
It's weird. I was surprised how like gentrified it already was. I have friends who live in Jersey City, and we have some mutuals that live there too. But like I've never really hung there out. And this is coming from someone who lived in Hoboken, but I guess I've only ever like just been at my friend, shout out Val and Andrew, been at their condo. I had never been like on Main Street. It literally looks like any neighborhood in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Which to me is like, damn, we already maxed out everywhere else that we're here now.
Jersey City does supposedly have like insanely good pizza.
And really good. What's the seafood? What we're talking about?
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
But is that Jersey City?
I think so. You said you had Portuguese seafood there.
Was it Jersey City?
Yes.
Might have been Patterson.
Oh, maybe. Well,
or,
Patterson
or Newark.
That's somewhere that will never be gentrified.
Might have been Newark.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Shout out Jersey, baby.
Yeah, it's great to be fucking in bed by 11:30. All right, you want to talk you people?
Oh yeah, real quick.
I got 3 texts this weekend from different people who don't know each other. Be like, "Yo, did Jonah Hill base the characters off you and or Lawrence?" And I watched like 20 minutes this morning.
When I came over, you were going.
I was doing my research.
Yeah. I watched it with Jenna. Of course, that thought crossed my mind. I also got a bunch of texts about it as well, a handful.
So he's an aspiring podcaster on The Culture.
Yeah.
Who wears Sean Wotherspoon.
Wears trash LA streetwear.
Camp High. Yeah.
So, and Jonah Hill is a co-writer of the movie. And I don't know, like, I don't want to sound like that full of ourselves, but like.
That's what this whole episode has been about.
Touche. I don't think the fits are based on us. That seemed like an LA kind of streetwear for the culture head ass thing. The idea of a Jew, I mean, he is Jewish, obviously, but this idea of like an older, like a mid-30s, like podcaster, like trying to make a dent in that world around subjects that like you and I do touch on, I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility, especially considering our relationship with, Mr. Feldstein.
Mr. Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was more like, I'm like, people are texting me like, wait, why? And like, yes, the podcast thing, and like, also like he wears like the fits, like he wears like Camp High sweatshirts. Like, what the? Okay, is that me?
We've never even acknowledged the existence of such a cursed garm.
I think Camp High has been floated to us as like the guy with the fucking gigantic beard.
I'm
I'm
like Burton and shit, who's best friends with John Mayer. I mean, whatever.
No.
Honestly, probably that would be a dope dude to have on, low key.
But yeah, I watched like 20, 25 minutes.
The movie stinks, by the way.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's not. I mean,
it seems like a fun, like little background flick.
There's funny scenes where the riffing is pretty good. For the most part, well, the cast is amazing, but like it's pretty.
Yo, shout out Travis Bennett, Young Taco.
Yo, Travis is great.
He was funny in the one scene I saw him in.
Him playing this kind of like incredulous straight man who has like little barbs about all the stuff that's happening around him. I think not that he's being typecasted, but like he plays that role really well. And I know it's like our new friend and. We're the big shit talkers. Like, I understand. He did great. I will say everyone else kind of like phoned it in, and it's these Netflix original movies. Like, it's easy to just be like, yo, they're all fucking cringe. But for whatever reason, we were talking about Glass Onion to some degree was like this. It's like, yo, did a Twitter bot timeline, combing AI write these scripts? Like, it's just not normal and real.
Feels like shit that you would want like screen capped and like put on Twitter, right? Where it's like, like
you said it on
CLB,
me, brother.
CLB Drake, take views Drake, like
yeah.
like those having that screenshot with like the subtitles. What are you doing?
I'm just
you're fucking on my table already.
No. I'm just fucking fidgeting with the wire.
You're ragging on my cord.
It's not. It's just not good.
I know.
I would be lying if I said I didn't laugh out loud a couple times, but like it's pretty fun. Like I saw Megan as well this weekend. Megan is better.
Okay.
Like it's a better. It's like just
yes. Were you in the theater? Like yes, cunt.
I was at home in bed watching it, but yes, I was.
Mother.
Yes.
Megan the mother.
I was doing extremely offensive, homophobic, stereotypical movements and gesticulations and voices.
Should we be offended or flattered that people
I'm
think
flattered.
people think that we have that type of fucking clout where
Or
it's like
hold over the
where
boy.
it's like Jonah did base this character on you guys or borrowed or whatever from sampled from you guys.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know if I
I can't believe I'm podcasting about a podcaster right now.
yeah, and I don't want to be so narcissistic to be like, yes, it is clearly. I'm flattered. Fits aside.
Should we
and the quality of the movie aside?
Should we beef with Jonah
No.
in court?
I mean, good luck getting in touch with him. He's obviously, doing the mental health thing where he's completely off social media. He's not promoting any
Do you
of
think
his movies.
do you think when celebrities must have like, well, I guess like close friends, but like all celebs must have burners. Like especially the ones that are like, oh, I'm not on social media and they don't have an official account, but like they must have something where like they're lurking and like tapped in a little bit, right? Well, also, what else would they be doing with their free time?
Well, this movie and then the movie about his therapist, I think, it didn't help, but I think there's certain people that see him as this like sanctimonious guy that would be like performatively being like, I'm off social media for mental health, because that almost is like a marketing tool in and of itself, and then he's on some burner lurking. I don't believe that. I think he legit is like, trying to, I don't know. He seems like he's off the internet, despite all the projects that are coming out. Like this, he co-wrote this shit. He obviously directed the movie about his therapist. Like, you would think that he would want to be available to promote these, but I believe him in that he's taking time away. So I don't think he's on his burner, or listening to this episode or anything like that.
You never know.
No, if he was still on social media, we could straight up have DM'd him and like asked if like there was any inspo, and we could actually have like the amazing fucking ammunition to be like, well, we asked him, and you know what, we are partly
I think I have his email somewhere. I can like.
Well, what are you gonna email his assistant and be like,
No, I think I have his email.
should we bother to sue your boss
Jonah
because he fucking ripped us off?
Jonah@youpeople.org.
Yeah, I wish.
I'm kidding. That's not
I
his
just
email.
I just wish again that the movie was better. Also, I know I get the. I'm here not scoffing. I'm here fucking agreeing with BEE when he drops movies, or I'm like the cinephile. Like, I always like try to just approach movies as like an enthusiast and a fan. But like, the movie was made very poorly. Like the editing was trash.
How'd you make a movie?
It just like doesn't look good. Is it Kenya Barris or Kenya? What's his name?
Yeah.
I feel like, and I'm on my sit my white ass down and listen type shit. But I guess like black people have had it with him. And like think that, speaking of like sanctimonious and shit, view him as that guy. I don't like watch Blackish, and I'm not familiar with his game, but like I kind of, some of the negative shit I've seen about him, I'm like, oh, I kind of get it after seeing that shit.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. That's my last comment.
Okay. Do you want to talk about Kirby Jean Raymond now? No, just kidding.
Woo! They cooked his ass.
Enough has been said. Yeah, goddamn. All right, this has been another episode of the only podcast that matters. Chef?
Oh, but also, no. The whole level up for the podcast in the movie, which I forget what it's called. Oh, something and easy. Oh,
The Mo and Easy show.
Sam J was great. Shout out fucking Sam J. The thing for me that I texted the group chat before it came out. Yeah, spoiler alert. The big level up is they signed to Complex Networks.
Oh, so they're
which to me is there's only so many like. The whole point is that like his pipe dream of quitting finance and being a podcaster, you got to give it some weight to make it seem that in the story that he's successful. What else would you pick? I mean, BuzzFeed doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, come on, bro.
Really.
Well, no, BuzzFeed owns Complex. So what are you talking about? Yeah.
No, but like, what could another example be? Like Complex is the obvious stand-in, but that is a little.
So his character is just our Benjamin Button.
Kind of.
He's regressing backwards.
He did regress.
He's becoming a baby.
And then part of me is like, Jonah never.
He's becoming a baby, bro. As he ages, he's getting into sneakers and into Complex Networks.
And not just a baby, but a strong baby. That's his production company.
There you go.
Strong Baby Productions. Did he ever know that we were on Complex? I don't think he knew that. Did he?
I don't know, bro.
He knew we were on Barstool. Imagine he was Barstool. Then I would have been like, holy fucking shit, dude. Which is honestly pretty fucking sad.
You got a Big Cat cameo?
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Do you have any last thoughts?
No, that was the last thing. I just thought the Complex thing was close to
I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten there yet in the movie. Jeff, take us out.
Later, guys.